Hello, my favorite English language learners. It is your favorite English teacher here, Amy Joy. And let me ask you this. Do you wish you could understand advanced English readings with hardly any effort? Do you wish you could learn vocabulary faster? Do you wish that you had me there with you to correct your English all the time? Well, I have some good and bad news for you. I may not be your favorite English teacher anymore after this video. Why? Well, I've discovered this amazing magical tool called ChatGPT that can help you with everything I mentioned and more. So, what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a computer program that can understand and respond to human language. It can answer questions, write sentences and paragraphs, and even have a conversation with you. It is designed to help people communicate with a computer in a similar way that we communicate with each other. And it can be helpful for someone learning English because it can help them practice reading, writing, and speaking in the language. And do you want to know something crazy? When I asked ChatGPT what ChatGPT was, that was the answer it gave me. So in this video, I am going to show you how ChatGPT works, and I will also give you 4 ways it can help you to learn and improve your English. So to get started with ChatGPT, all you need to do is go to this link and create a free account. You can even connect it with an existing Google account, so it makes it really easy to log in quickly. Once you're in, you can begin asking it anything you want. So let's see how it can help us with our English. Now, earlier I asked you if you wanted to be able to understand advanced readings with hardly any effort. Let's see how ChatGPT can help you with that. So here I have an article from NPR, and one of the paragraphs says this: "When food is wasted, so are the natural and human resources that go into producing, processing, transporting, preparing, and storing it. Those processes generate different carbon dioxide emissions, which is a major driver of climate change." Now, for most English language learners, they might not have seen the word driver used in this way. You probably know the word to drive, and a driver can be someone who is driving a car, but you might not know what it means in this context. So let's ask ChatGPT what this word means. So I typed into ChatGPT, "I don't understand what the word driver means in the following newspaper article. Can you explain it to me?" And then I copied and pasted the article, and then this is what it told me. In this context, driver refers to something that causes or contributes to an effect. In this case, the sentence states that carbon dioxide emissions are a major driver of climate change. This means that the emissions of carbon dioxide, which is produced when food is wasted, is a significant factor that contributes to climate change. Drivers of something are the main factors or causes of it. In this case, the article states that food waste is an important driver of climate change because it results in the release of carbon dioxide, which contributes to global warming. Wow. What a thorough and accurate explanation of this word. So as you can see, ChatGPT really uses the context around each word to give meanings and definitions. So while you're reading an advanced text that might be a little bit difficult for you, you can absolutely use this to check the meanings of words in context. Now, what if an article has many words that you don't know? Let's see how ChatGPT can help us with that. So I asked it, "Can you prepare vocabulary notes explaining words and phrases that might be difficult for intermediate English language learners?" And another really incredible thing about ChatGPT is that it actually remembers what you asked previously or what you asked before, so it knows that I'm asking for vocabulary notes related to the article that I had in my previous question. You can even see in this question I misspelled the word difficult, and it still understood me. So let's see how it answers this question. It starts by giving us the word tossing and the definition, which says throwing something away carelessly. Perfect. We have the word unwanted, which means not wanted. Leftovers or food remaining after a meal. Ingredients, food items that are used to prepare a dish, and the list goes on. It gave me about 20 different words and their definitions from that article. So if you are struggling to understand a text because the vocabulary words are too difficult, copy and paste the reading into ChatGPT, ask it to give you some vocabulary notes, look at the words you are unfamiliar with their definitions, and then try reading again, and maybe you will be able to understand the article a little bit more easily. I actually got this idea from Professor Tom Galley over in Tokyo, who posted a really great video on all the functions of ChatGPT, so I will link his video below and you can go check that out too. And before moving on to the next way that ChatGPT can help you with your English, I just want to remind you that if you have found this video helpful or useful so far, that you make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can keep improving your English with me. Now, another question I asked you earlier was if you wanted to learn vocabulary faster. And from what I've seen so far, ChatGPT is an incredible tool for vocabulary, and I think it's actually one of its biggest strengths. So let's take a look. So first, you can just ask ChatGPT for meanings and definitions. For example, here I asked it, "What does dedicated mean?" And it said, "The word dedicated can have a few different meanings depending on the context in which it is used. In general, it can mean devoted or committed to something, such as a person, a cause, or task. For example, someone who is dedicated to their work puts a lot of time and effort into it and is committed to doing it well. Something that is dedicated to a specific purpose, such as a computer that is dedicated to running a particular program, is intended and configured for that purpose and nothing else. It can also mean to set something apart for a particular purpose, like dedicate a book to a person." So something I love about ChatGPT is how thorough it is. It gave me not one, but 2 definitions. Now, as an English language learner, maybe you already knew the first definition, but you want to know more about the second definition. So you can also ask it this. "I understand dedicated has 2 meanings. Can you provide 5 sample sentences for each meaning?" And it says, "Certainly, here are 5 sample sentences that use the word dedicated to mean devoted or committed. She is dedicated to her children and always puts their needs first. He is dedicated to the cause of fighting poverty and works tireless to raise awareness and funds," and the list goes on. Now, something I love about the sample sentences that ChatGPT gives is it gives so much context and meaning to really help you understand the meaning of the word. For example, in sentence 1, it says, "She is dedicated to her children and always puts their needs first." The second part of the sentence emphasizes what makes her a dedicated mother. It does not just say she is dedicated to her children, but rather adds that extra meaning and context to the end of the sentence so an English language learner can really understand it. Let's look at the sample sentences for the second meaning of dedicated. "This computer is dedicated to running a specific simulation and is not able to perform other tasks." 2. "The library has a dedicated room for quiet study and research." 3. "The city has dedicated a portion of its budget to funding public arts projects." "The website is dedicated to providing information about local events and activities." And "The school has a dedicated music room equipped with instruments and sound equipment." So all of these examples are talking about something that is used for a specific purpose. We have a computer that is set aside or used for a specific purpose. We have a room that is dedicated for quiet studying. We have a portion of the budget that is dedicated to funding arts projects. All of these things have been set aside or intended for a specific purpose. Now, another great way to use ChatGPT as a tool for building your vocabulary is to check collocations. So in the sample sentences with the word dedicate, I noticed they used the word to and for, so I was curious about the collocations with this word. So I asked it, "What words collocate with dedicate?" And it told me, "Dedicate is a verb that is often used with a wide range of words and phrases. Some common words and phrases that collocate with dedicate include to dedicate something to someone or something," and it even gave me an example. "He dedicated the song to his wife." Dedicate something to someone or something. Another collocation is time. To dedicate time to something. She dedicated her time to volunteering. To dedicate effort to something, he dedicated a lot of effort to learning a new skill. Then it gives me all of these things that can be dedicated to a person: a book, poem, or song, a monument or a statue, a building, and even a day. And then at the end, it even gives us a little caveat or room for exceptions by saying, "These are just a few examples. Other words and phrases that collocate with dedicate may depend on the specific context in which it is used." So Wow, that is absolutely incredible. Now, when I originally asked it the collocations for the word dedicate, I was actually thinking more about prepositions. So another way you can ask to check collocations is by using the part of speech you are looking for. For example, what prepositions collocate with dedicate? And then it told me this. The verb dedicate commonly collocates with these prepositions. To dedicate something to someone. On, to dedicate on a specific day or occasion. And for, when specifying a purpose. For example, this room is dedicated for yoga practice. And then it gets even more detailed. It says, these are the most common prepositions that collocate with dedicate, but there can be others depending on the context of the sentence, such as in or with, to indicate who or what is participating in dedication, or at to indicate where the dedication is taking place. Incredible. If you are working on vocabulary, improving your word choices, or sounding a little bit more natural in your phrasing, you need to be using this tool to check for natural ways of expressing ideas. It is chef's kiss, which means that it is really good. Now, another way I think this can be really useful for vocabulary building is by searching for topic-specific vocabulary. I have a lot of university students who are taking general education courses like art history and philosophy. And although they are advanced learners of English, these subjects might not be familiar to them. So I think that ChatGPT can really help us build up our topic-specific vocabulary. Let me show you what I mean. I told ChatGPT, give me 5 words commonly used in art history with definitions and sample sentences. And it said, sure, here are 5 words commonly used in art history along with their definitions and sample sentences. Then it gave me iconography, composition, style, technique, and medium. It gave me their definitions and sample sentences, and these words are so useful and so prevalent or common in the field of art history. Now, in this example, I only used 5, but earlier when I was playing with this, I was able to get over 30 words with their definitions and sample sentences. So if you are taking a class in a subject that is new to you, I highly recommend asking ChatGPT to generate some word lists for you so that you can quickly build up your vocabulary in that specific discipline. Now, the next way ChatGPT can help you is to revise your writing to sound more natural in English. Remember when I asked you if you wish you had me there to correct your English all the time? Well, this tool might not be 100% perfect, but it can really help you with your word choice, phrasing, and even your tone. Let's see how it can correct this email. I asked it, make this email sound more natural and polite. Hi, here is Harry, one of the Columbia 4-year student. Just want to know if I could review my exam after it has been reviewed. I'd like to see what issue I got with it because the email today said that I've been assigned to only the low class. I'm very depressed because I thought I could get better results. Then ChatGPT changed it to this, saying, hi, this is Harry, a 4-year student at Columbia. I was wondering if it would be possible for me to review my exam after it has been graded. I am hoping to get a better understanding of where I went wrong so that I can improve for the future. I noticed that I was assigned to a lower class than I was expecting, and I am quite disappointed. If there is any way I could get some feedback on my performance, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Harry. Wow. Now, when I saw ChatGPT's response to this, honestly, I felt a little nervous and even apprehensive to recommend it to you all because of how powerful it is. And this also raises some moral and ethical questions about where we are headed with AI and what we should and shouldn't use it for. And that is obviously something that as a university writing teacher, I need to address. I am absolutely not suggesting that you use this tool to write papers for you or edit papers for you, but rather as a tool to help you improve your English, identify weaknesses you have, and more natural ways of using the language. I think using it in this way can highlight some areas where you can sound more natural or more polite. But again, please use this program responsibly, not as a tool for cheating or plagiarism, but more to help you with your English. Now, let's take a look at how ChatGPT can help you with your phrasing and word choice. I recently had a student who said this, I cannot close an eye on the fact that it saved me a lot of time when writing essays, while just like what the 8 students said in the assignment. Now, the beginning of this sentence is a little confusing because the student is trying to use an idiom, but they didn't quite use it correctly. Let's see how ChatGPT can make this sound a little more natural. I asked it, make this sentence sound more like a native English speaker. And it said, I cannot turn a blind eye to the fact that it saved me a lot of time when writing essays, just as the 8 students noted in the assignment. So ChatGPT was able to identify the idiom that my student was trying to use and rephrased it to be correct. Instead of saying, I cannot close an eye, ChatGPT said, I cannot turn a blind eye, which is the correct idiom meaning to ignore. So I highly recommend using this as a tool when you are unsure of a specific word choice or idiom. Just type in what you know and see if ChatGPT can give you the natural way of expressing that idea. Okay, and the fourth way that ChatGPT can help you improve your English is to give you sample conversations of scenarios that might intimidate you in English. Back when I lived in New York City, many of my students needed to rent apartments, but they were very scared and intimidated to call the landlords to schedule viewings and ask questions. So they would ask me to make the phone call for them. Now, while I loved helping out, now you have ChatGPT to show you what a conversation about a certain situation can look like. Let me show you an example. I said, can you provide me with a sample conversation between a renter and a landlord? The renter wants to apply for an apartment and wants to schedule a viewing and wants to know about the rent, utilities, and parking. The more details you include about the situation, the better, so that ChatGPT can address every point you mention, but this is what it said. Sure, here's a sample conversation between a renter and a landlord. Hello, I saw your listing for an apartment that's available for rent, and I'm interested in scheduling a viewing. Are there any available times next week? Landlord. Hello, yes, we have an apartment that's available for rent. We have viewings scheduled for next Monday and Tuesday. Would either of those days work for you? Monday would work best for me. What time is the viewing scheduled for? The viewing on Monday is scheduled for 2 p.m. Does that work for you? Yes, that works great. Thank you. Can you tell me a little bit about the rent and utilities? Are there any additional costs I should be aware of? The rent for the apartment is $1,200 per month, and that includes water and trash. You would be responsible for paying electricity and gas. As for additional costs, there is a $40 application fee and $300 security deposit required. Additionally, parking is available for an additional $75 per month. That sounds good. Thank you for the information. One more question. Is there a laundry facility on site or near the building? There is a laundry facility on the premises and it's available for all tenants to use. They are coin-operated and are open 24 hours. Now, ChatGPT didn't actually finish the conversation, but I think this is such a great example because it gives non-native English speakers a lot of vocabulary specific to the situation that they might encounter on that phone call, and also natural ways of asking common questions that native speakers do naturally. For example, are there any available times next week? Or, can you tell me a little bit about the rent and utilities? Or, are there any additional costs I should be aware of? It even brings up more vocabulary related to this situation that I didn't mention in my question. For example, the application fee, the trash, and the coin-operated laundry. These are all things you might want to ask about but kind of forget in the moment when making that phone call. So it can be very useful to ask ChatGPT for a sample conversation of your situation to prepare for the conversation ahead of time. Just make sure to be very specific when writing the question to ChatGPT so that it can address all of the areas of your situation. And just a tip, you can actually regenerate the response that it gave you. So if you don't like the first one or you want some additional options, you can regenerate the response 2, 3, 4 times and maybe get new conversations with new vocabulary and additional questions that you didn't see the first time. Now, I think this is a great way to prepare for any situation that intimidates you. Maybe asking your boss for a raise, getting a refund at a store, or asking your professor a question in office hours. And people have even asked ChatGPT to break up with their boyfriends and girlfriends for them. So really, the possibilities are endless with this tool, and I have only scratched the surface today or given you a few tips to start with. I'm going to share all of the prompts that I wrote for this video in the description below so that you can easily copy and paste these prompts into the tool and use it for your own purposes. Now, these are obviously not an exhaustive list or a complete list of what you can do with this tool, so I would love to hear from you about your thoughts on this tool and what prompts you are going to ask it. Share with us in the comments below so that we can have a running list of ChatGPT prompts that others can use as well. I can't wait to hear your creative ideas for how you are going to use this tool. Let me know what you think about it, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something new. If you did, make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel so you can keep improving your English with me. Bye!